Hi everyone. It's about 11 o'clock and people are starting to log on. So while that's happening, I'm going to go over a couple of just housekeeping things. Uh, Welcome to Master Your Content Marketing and Creation in 2021. If that's where you're trying to be, you're in the right place. I'm Angela with SEO Rocket. While we're waiting, I wanted to remind you that you are all in listen only mode, which means that, as you can imagine, we can't hear you and hopefully you can hear us. But if you have something to say or share, definitely if you have a question to ask us, there's a little chat box in your control panel. So go ahead at any time throughout our presentation. And then, of course, you can definitely do it at the end when we do a call for questions. Type in your questions there. So we love to hear questions. This is your opportunity to ask the expert. Please take advantage of that. We're here to do that, answer those questions. So, and then of course, stick around till the end to actually hear the answers, right? We want you to do that. Okay, for those of us joining us now, I think we're just after 11, so I'm going to go ahead and get started because there's so much to cover today. Thank you for joining us. I'm Angela McAfee with SEO Rocket. Today we are talking about content. Oh my gosh, content. So this is a topic that is near and dear, and also one that I absolutely 100% fought to start the year off with, start off 2021 with this topic, because it is so crucial, and I don't use that word lightly, crucial to your online success. From an SEO perspective, quality content and information on your site, especially and across the web and other places, in your blogs and your social media, other places, quality content really is a necessity for to rank competitively, okay, for that organic visibility success. You know, think about it. If information about your products and goods and services, if they are not on your site, you know, how is Google going to know about them or any other search engine? You know, it's crucial that it be there. You're not going to rank for it if it's not there, okay? It'll be a mystery to the world otherwise. Secondly, for conversion, think about your sales cycle. You know, content and information is exactly what your prospects are looking for. They want to know, they want to build a relationship with you, so it's key. They really need to know, you know, who you are, why you do what you do, what the products and services that you offer, how it's going to help them. It's going to solve their problems, how, it's going to cure their pains, how. You know, these are virtual conversations that they're having with you that you may not even know about, but they need to know what their experience with your product or service is going to be like. You know, once they make that decision to buy from you, you know, how is that going to work for them? Are they going to be happy or not? So those who provide that information, the quality, authentic content, those who provide that are really going to have an advantage over their competitors. And in both of those ways, both in their visibility online and also in their conversion rate, since that prospect or customer will have developed a relationship with you already. So please keep that in mind. That's why it's so important. However, we know, and I get asked this question all the time, literally, content creation is a mystery. It's very mystifying for many people, many marketers, business owners, whether you're DIY mom and pop or you have a full, you know, marketing team at your company. It's very mysterious and mystifying for people. It really is still. And you know what? I get it. It can be totally overwhelming. It really can, because the big question is always, you know, well, what do I say? What do I talk about? Right? Right. So lucky us, today we have two experts, both with proven track records in the content marketing arena. We have Karen Patrick with the Content Crafters, and she's going to walk us through identifying the content that works best for your business, okay? And then Emily Wasserman, she's a freelance content creator and marketer herself. She's going to explain to you and give you tips and tricks on creating that authentic content, finding those topics that need to be addressed and how to address them. These are two huge questions that everyone has, and it's great stuff. So I'm going to get started. It looks like a good bit of you have logged in, so fantastic. I'm going to get started. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of our presenters first. Karen Patrick. Karen has, with the Content Crafters, Karen has 20 plus years in advertising, working as both a campaign strategist and a creative director. She's worked on multi-channel, both consumer and B2B marketing campaigns. She's worked with brands like Pfizer, Disney Vacation Club, IBM, Vera Bradley, and Blue Cross Blue Shield. These are all brands that we know about, right? In 2016, she went out on her own and founded the Content Crafters. They provide creative content marketing and advertising services for agencies and clients alike. She's worked with Vanium Group, SAS, Raleigh-Durham International Airport, Verify, and others. So if you'd like to get some more information on Karen and her work, you can catch her at thecontentcrafters.com. And also today we have with us Emily Wasserman. So Emily, you may remember and may recognize she was with us in November for our webinar on social media marketing. And if you haven't seen that webinar yet, I highly suggest you go check it out. We have a webinars page at SEOrocket.com. Go there and check it out because it's great information and it pairs really well with what she'll be talking about today, and it complements that so well. So social media marketing is a piece of your content marketing, right? So I would do yourself the favor and go check that out as well. But a little bit about Emily. She's been in the digital marketing space for over a decade. She creates topically focused content for different types of marketing strategies. Emily works with businesses of all sizes across many different industries, creating social media updates, blog posts, press releases, email campaigns, and of course, website content and copy for her clients. So we have a lot to share today. I want to make sure you get your notepads ready because there's a lot here. If you should miss anything, that's okay. You can always, check it out later on the YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and start with Karen. I'm going to pitch over to Karen so that she can give her presentation as soon as she's ready. And at the same time, we're going to take our cameras down because we're all hand talkers and we will be voguing otherwise and distracting you. So we're going to take our cameras down. And then Karen, as soon as you're ready, get started.
All right. So thank you, Angela. I really am honored to be here and a part of your webinar series. I've been keeping up with each one, and they've been incredibly informative and full of information. Today, I want to spend time going over content marketing, as she mentioned, and how you can optimize it by following 3 steps for your business or product lines. And whether you're new to content marketing or you're a seasoned pro, hopefully you will discover something in this presentation that you didn't know before. So let's get to it. So first, let's define what content marketing is, because I think a lot of people overthink this one a bit. I want to make sure we're all on the same page as we go through this presentation. So here's how the Content Marketing Institute defines it. The Content Marketing Institute, in case you're wondering, is kind of a well-known entity within content marketing. They do a lot of super good blogging and presentation of information about content marketing, so it's a great resource. But they define it as a strategic marketing approach focused on creating and distributing valuable, relevant, and consistent content to attract and retain a clearly defined audience, and ultimately to drive profitable customer action. So almost more important than what this definition includes is what it doesn't. which is a specific type of content. You know, any communication or content you have made public that is associated with your brand or your company is content marketing. That includes emails, Facebook posts, outdoor ads, billboards, point of sale ads, signage in your store, radio ads, blogs, Instagram promos, or even big TV campaigns. I mean, really, even the messaging on your business card counts. So now that we've defined content marketing, let's talk about the 3 steps to rock it out. So step 1 is all about choosing the right medium for your message. Step 2 focuses on deciding what to share and when. And step 3 shows you how to become a leader in your industry simply by listening. So step 1, choosing a medium that delivers maximum impact. For anyone who is wondering, a medium is the method in which a message is delivered to the intended audience. So this decision is primarily going to be guided by your audience, your budget, and the message you wish to convey. An example of mediums are digital advertising, which would be your website, your blog, banners, digital banners you find on web pages, social media advertising. That could include pages for your business or your service, posts, stories, and ads you purchase to run on social media platforms. And this is, I'm talking about the main ones: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, Snapchat. This medium is also print advertising, such as magazines, newspapers, and journals. Outdoor advertising is a medium. That would be billboards, signage, and experiential events. And finally, broadcast advertising, which we all know to be TV campaigns and videos. So, in order to choose the best medium, we need to know our audience. And there are 2 ways to do this. The first is through behavior, as you can get to know your customer base or audience with just a little bit of effort and a lot of observation. Just by paying attention to your customers when they are in the store shopping, or looking at their online buying habits will tell you a lot. Also, are they online people or in-store shoppers? I know the pandemic has affected these shopping behaviors, but it is still an important observation. Then you want to determine if they are loyal to your brand or loyal to a bargain, because that makes a big difference. Also, how do they share info, and how do they discover info? Finally, where do they fall on the product adoption scale? So the chart that you're looking at on the left is a product adoption scale, and it begins with innovators. These are your customers who are willing to take the most risks with their purchases. They want it to be the first one on the block with the newest, shiniest product, and they are not deterred by buggy beta versions of anything. Whereas the laggers at the end of the chart are the last to know everyone has an Instapot or air fryers are awesome, and often cling to, you know, their products that are tried and true and on the older scale that work just fine in their opinion. You'll notice in this chart there's an area called the chasm, and that is the gap between early adopters and the mainstream market. And this is the most difficult market to capture because most new products fail trying to make this transition. So you definitely want to pay special attention to your content marketing for people within that realm. You can also find out about your audience by tapping into their data. So most digital and social platforms will provide you with some sort of analytics. And if you're working with a digital agency like SEO Rocket, they most definitely should be providing you with these demographic and usage metrics. And if they aren't, you might want to call Angela and switch on over to SEO Rocket. But a few ways to check your customer-driven data is by obtaining your search volume data. Now, this will show you what terms your customers are using to find your products or your competitors when they are online. And if you have a website or online shop, you should be signing up for Google Analytics, or if your hosting service offers some kind of program that provides metrics, that works too. And you want to use this data to identify the primary influencers for your customers. Are they influenced by word of mouth, paid influencers like those on social media? Do they follow trends? Are they seeing what your competition is doing and seeing if you're keeping up? Are they price driven, or are they just kind of moved by flashy or trendy advertising? So all of this information, believe it or not, can be found through your data. The last part of choosing a medium has to do with really speaking to your audience. You need to reflect your findings and use content that speaks to your customers, even if it doesn't really reflect your own interests or beliefs. You want to use the observations and data to determine if your customers are brand loyal, and then choose either broad messaging strategy if they are not, or a focused messaging strategy if they are. You want to be sure to speak to what gets them excited or interested in what you are doing or selling. And you can use your FAQs or your in-person or online feedback to guide this, choice. People will tell you a lot in their product reviews and when they reach out to ask questions. So make sure you're paying attention to that. And once you have all of that done, then you also want to make sure the medium you choose reflects their position in the customer journey. The customer journey has 4 stages. You have the awareness stage, when people are just now realizing they have a problem or need and want to fill or fix it. You have the consideration stage, when they are comparing various solutions and looking specifically for answers to their problem. You have the decision stage, when the customer has finally gotten to the point where they decide on a purchase. And then the last stage is the success stage, which is when satisfied customers share their own positive and sometimes negative experiences with others. And I think Angela is going to share a great article on how to identify content gaps using the customer journey after this webinar. And I highly suggest you check that out.
Yeah, actually that is in, I have a link to that. It's a search engine journal article. I have a link to that in the chat. So all of the attendees should be able to see it. I would, go ahead and after the webinar, check that out. If you want to pop it open now in a new window and just check it out later, that's fine. But it does a great job of matching content suggestions to exactly what Karen is talking about here, the different pieces of the buyer's journey, how different content will answer the questions that the buyer has at each individual point within that journey. So we found it and I wanted to make sure to share it with everyone. So it's there in the chat.
Yeah, highly recommend. It was a quick read and very informative. So now we're on to step 2, which is all about deciding what content you should share out and when you should do it. So in order to keep your messaging valuable, relevant, and consistent, as the Content Institute stated, your content marketing needs to be organized. And the best way to do that is with a calendar or a content calendar. This primarily will keep you honest by making sure what you're saying is actually matching up with what you're doing. But it also helps you to identify holes and redundancies in your messaging while making sure it's congruent and continuous. And it's also a great way to make sure you are taking advantage of holidays, current events, competitor activities that are happening in your customer's world that aligns with your efforts, such as a product launch or big sale. You really don't want to miss out on big events like Black Friday and Cyber Monday, or specific holidays if they match up with your products. You're looking at a version of a content calendar that I use with my clients. This one is broken down by day and week and helps both of us see the topic or type of communication that we're sending out or sharing out. We also are identifying the author. Since you won't always be sending out your own content, you'll be sharing other people's content, so you'll want to identify where it's coming from. The planned post or publication date is also on this chart, as well as where you'll be sharing the content out and any URL or website that is aligned with it. So again, it's a great housekeeping tool to make sure that you are, using your content the best ways that you can. And then next, I'd like to talk about how you can reuse your content. You don't always have to kill yourself trying to produce brand spanking new content. If it works, use it again. If it is timely, there are no rules about reusing successful campaigns, messaging, or promotions. Some of my clients have turned their most successful campaigns into annual sales events that their loyal customers look forward to each year. They are all about it. And for those of you who may be wondering what I mean by evergreen in that second bullet, that is a term we use to refer to search engine optimized content that is ageless, always relevant, and it doesn't go off trend or out of date. Some examples for evergreen content would be an FAQs or how-to guide, where you may have to add to this type of content from time to time, but you shouldn't have to scrap it all together a year from now. And finally, don't shy away from repurposing content and turn a successful blog post into a webinar, or take an infographic that you had been putting in your printed materials, or maybe your pitch materials, into a social media post, or putting it on your website. So just really looking at what you have and auditing it and making sure that you're optimizing its usage. I mean, that's definitely critical. So I mentioned starting from scratch before, saying not everything will have to start to scratch, but if you do have to start from scratch, you don't want to be scared to create the content yourself. This could be because you're a new business owner, or maybe you're a startup, or you have a brand new product that doesn't have any competitors. I think the biggest thing is to be honest with yourself. Like, are you really the best person for the job? And this speaks to a lot of small business owners who are finding they're wearing many hats, and they really feel like they have to own everything. But delegating the content creation to an expert, or outsourcing it, or someone else in your company, it might be your best move. This is a great opportunity for someone who gets what you are doing and has a flair for words, and give them their moment. You just want to make sure they have the bandwidth to do it. Nobody likes a grumpy content creator. Trust me, I know this very well. And finally, I want to talk about looking for inspiration outside of the expected. Emily's going to give you a lot more information on how to do this later, because it's everywhere. It really is. When I'm starting a content project, I don't look in the most normal expected places. I usually look outside of my own world for inspiration. And then also, let's make content creation a priority. Nobody likes going to your website, your Facebook page, or your blog that hasn't been updated in months. When they're looking for information, they want it to be timely and they want it to be relevant. So, let's make sure you're making it a priority. So now we have our last step, and this is how to use your content to become a thought leader. This is kind of your ultimate goal. I mean, other than selling a crap ton of products, you really want to be seen as someone who knows what they're talking about within your field, your industry, within the product line or brand that you're trying to promote. So in today's world, I definitely want to point out that customers are not looking for a sales pitch. They're looking to companies to help them understand why they are the best choice, or understand why they're doing what they're doing. And that answer rarely comes as a sales pitch. Instead, it's a story. People love storytelling these days, like why you got into candle making in the first place, or how your great-great-grandfather owned a clock repair shop in Italy, and now you're selling custom watch bands on Etsy. These type of stories really draw people in and make them engage with your brand on a much higher level. And you also want to share these tidbits that people can't get anywhere else, that makes them feel special and like, they're one of your chosen group of people that you're communicating with. And for the last bullet, it's very important to be available and transparent. Your customers will be much more inclined to buy from you in the future if they think you care about their purchase by addressing anything, whether it's an issue or a compliment, in a timely manner. And then last but not least, live by the golden rule, which is thou shalt not ignore metrics. I mean, I mentioned earlier, you should pull data and not only read it, but implement it. And I can't stress that enough. Regardless of what you may think, if the metrics show they're an issue, you need to fix it and you need to believe it. And as soon as possible, if you can. It's an unfortunate but fact of life that organic content creation doesn't get you very far these days. So you may need to pay to play, which means buying or investing in a Facebook ad campaign or a Google ad campaign, and see how that works out for you. It really will increase the visibility of you, your brand, your website, whatever you're promoting at that moment. And it's also a good idea to always offer some kind of coupon or sale if business is running a little slow. It brings attention to you, and people love the fact that you're offering discounts, especially on like some of your most popular items or services. I mean, people love it when they're like, oh my God, this is such a hard to get item and I got it for 50% off. So that's it. That's 3 easy steps you can take to rock out your content marketing, whether it's for a social media campaign, a series of how-to webinars, or a big budget TV commercial. You know, it's really up to you on how you want to implement these steps into your content marketing, but it should be done across the board. So now Emily is going to explain how to develop content once you've decided which medium to use, what your cadence will be, and what type of content you will share.
Yeah, thank you, Karen. That was really great. And it really highlights the importance of content. Like, you can't, not have content. And so, as Karen said, there's a lot more content than just social media. And I focus primarily on, my work is focused primarily on digital content and specifically social media. So I'm really just going to that. And the reason why, it's also a good idea to talk about social media content is that it offers, out of all of content forms, it really offers return on investment. Not working. We'll just it. There we go.
We can, Emily, we can see your screen.
Yeah, awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
Technical day, fantastic. But for small businesses and startups, social media is the best way to start. Even if you don't have a website yet, go start a Facebook. Go get your Twitter going. Go claim your stake on LinkedIn and Instagram. And think about your tone as you're doing this. Think about any brand that you have that you have going already. If you're a new business, flesh this out ahead of time. Know where you want to go. Think about how other competitors are they not. Is it an industry that could use some humor? Sure, if that's how you want to stand out and disrupt, that's fine. But it has to be very possible. Like Karen said, nobody wants to see our sales pitching. They want a story, and they want that story to be about them, about the customer, and they want that story to touch on their journey. Think about Goldilocks. Think about you're a master store and you're Goldilocks. I want to tell the story of how Goldilocks just did not find the right master, but she did. And really kind of try to resonate with the buyer journey, the customer journey that they're traveling on, and match that to where they are in the create a calendar. Sharon did a really great job of addressing this. It's finished, accountable, and it's also a template that you as you grow your content strategy or you pivot your business. You have kind of a skeleton here, and you flesh it in around you, and that way you're not scrambling last minute to figure something out. Well, today is Wednesday. We always post a content, so like a little bit of direction. And relevant hashtags. Almost all social media platforms now allow for hashtag searches, for hashtag searches. So there's no reason why you should not. And they have to be relevant. A master store is not gonna, go for a holiday about but you want to make sure that it ties into your business product service. And some people may not be local and maybe clicking on hashtag searches and find your local business to expand yourself to your audience. And also, this is another topic that Karen addressed. Stretch your content. One blog post does not have to be, standalone. can turn that into several things and even make you could use it as a podcast topic or the podcasting. So think about different ways where you want ever like a week worth social posts and other forms of media that you can share. So these are some tips. It's not a comprehensive list by any means, but these are just some of the kind of most common ways they're bugging. So sorry. I had it worked out in practice, and of course now it's not figured out. Yep, there we go. Social media. In exchange, you can do downloads. In exchange for email information generation, say, hey, sign up for our newsletter, and we'll send you a coupon code. We'll send you a free download, a checklist. Downloads can be case studies, ebooks, financial reports, anything pretty much that you can put into a PDF format and that you allow people to download on their own computers. This is great for industry thought leaders, niche specialist coaches, professional services, life coaches, accountants, lawyers, anybody in the medical profession really want to teach us more about your corner in your industry. And this is this kind of content. We're on website now. I am all over the place today, guys. I'm so sorry. On your homepage, want to have the critical information. When are you open? How are you practicing COVID safety guidelines? Where exactly is your location? What's your phone number? How do you get in touch? As soon as somebody lands on your homepage, it's a bam. I want to make it as easy as possible for you to engage with my brand. The homepage is also a great place for your marketing videos. And that kind of tells the story in a quick, consumable, bite-sized way. That is where you want to put on your home. And you also want to make navigation to other pages, and you want buttons so that people can go from your home page back to your social. Because if they find your homepage search and they want to connect with social, that's one more channel that you can give that. So when it comes to your blog, the sweet spot here that experts are saying right now is about 750. Search engines like Google have robots that crawl your website and especially your blog, and they're looking for relevant keywords. They're looking for their algorithms are smart enough so that they can recognize good, well-written content, good grammar, things that can be read by humans. So you want your blog to be able to be human-centric, but also with in the back of your mind, Google's going to crawl those searches, crawl it, and it's for over 750 words, under 750. If we're stuffing just words, or if you're just kind of putting out content that's not great, Google's going to notice and searching. On that note, it's got to be relevant. We'd love to hear about your day on your blog, but maybe that's something that you should be doing in your personal blog instead of your business blog. Again, think about Goldilocks. I want to think about that journey. Goldilocks is going to find that bed and how she really is trying out that bed and can break that journey down into several blog posts. And it's just got to and their pages. And on your landing pages, kind of like the different sections of your website. It's the about us, it's some more information. If you have a page that shows all your blog posts, that's considered a landing page. For multi-location businesses, small local business franchises, you want to have a landing page with language and content that's tailored for these communities. Because even just in the triad, you think about how Winston-Salem traffic is different. Greensboro. So if you have a location, a mattress store in Winston-Salem and a mattress in Greensboro, your customers are going to be for slightly different things. Keep that in mind. And that will also come in handy when you run a pay-per-click or paid ad campaign, um, want to optimize these ads, then to place on your website where you know that you're gonna instantly convert them. They're no longer websites. They're that
Hey,
in mind.
Emily?
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt you. I just noticed your mic has gotten a little garbled.
Oh no.
I don't know if it's touching something or if you can speak louder, it might stop the problem. Give us a quick test.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, say something else.
Can you hear what now? Testing?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Much better.
Perfect. Sorry guys. Here we go. Let's
It
go
happens.
back.
No worries.
Happen. So we skipped this slide altogether. We're coming back to social media. Bear with me. Thank you everybody for your patience. Social media. In your feed, this is your news feed on Facebook. This is your feed on Twitter. These are your posts on LinkedIn, your posts on Instagram. The main news feed. You want to post resources for customer input, whether it's third party or promotional. Think about that journey. Think about what Goldilocks is for, and give her some information that helps her make a purchase decision that ends with your business. Testimonials, industry trends, expert advice. Those are all really good topics to post. Think about sources like Forbes and Harvard Business Review. Those are great. Always include a call to action, whether it's like our post, comment below, share with your friends, tag a friend, visit our website. This is what prompts the customers, your viewers online to take the next step and become a customer. And really like motivate them, be a cheerleader for them to take the next step. Now with your stories and snaps, these are really popular, and it used to be like a young person thing. I don't want to put any labels, but it's a Gen X thing for a while. But really it's now kind of ageless, and so many more people are using this, what we call ephemeral content, here for a little bit and then it's gone. Usually 24 hours. Think about time-sensitive events like discounts, deals, sales, holidays, grand openings, pop culture, news events. Karen was talking about, taking kind of world and looking beyond just your business to create content that really kind of has a common playing ground with your. And this also creates what we now know as FOMO, which is the technical. And you want kind of your customers to think like, well, if I don't buy now, I may miss out on this deal, and I know that's. And videos are also exponentially more popular now than they were just a few years ago, even just last year. And don't need to spend a lot to make good looking videos. Smartphones and mobile devices have some really great cameras, and there's some really great apps out there. You can make nice, authentic videos. You want to be able to relate to your customers and really be transparent. Show them how to use your products, answer frequently asked questions, go behind the scenes, a day in the life. If you have a new product, make a quick video on how to use it, and then make it a series, make it serial. Think about your favorite sitcom. Think about, how you just have to watch Grey's Anatomy every Thursday, and create, a series of videos that customers back, and eventually will. And then social ads. This is kind of the only thing where you start to have to pay to play here. The rest you really can do for free, or with a very limited budget. But with social ads, you do have to pay to run those social ads. And because of this, you want to the highest performing unpaid posts. So if you've taken all that time to create those great posts in your feed, and all of a sudden you see it blowing up organically, you say, okay, I have some money in my budget, I'm gonna post. And when you post it, you want to use a link a URL that offers the highest conversion. So like you wouldn't pay to post about an article Forbes that might be getting a lot of comments and engagement. That's great because you can tell by the engagement that it's a topic that your customers like. But if you pay to boost an ad with Forbes, Forbes is going to get all that traffic and you're going to lose all of your money that you're spending to ads. So make sure you're boosting ads that have your own website in it. So you have this kind of cyclical investment going on. And if that's what you want to do, if your goal is to increase traffic to your website, you need to earmark that metric, you need to track that metric. And when it comes to spending money, you need to quantify your effort, whether it's for your own business or whether you're in charge of marketing for other businesses. You need to quantify the efforts for stakeholders. That's content on social media website. And these are just a few other content ideas here. Testimonials and reviews. You can talk about your business, and that's good. We want you to talk about your business. But customers want to hear other customers talk about you. We don't need to tell you the power of reviews. Like it's, and actually, if you have not started curating reviews, there are a lot of great tools out there. SEO Rocket has Rocket reviews tools, and that can not only bring your testimonial to your website, which is another great piece of content to have, another landing page, but it helps to give social proof. Now, Google reviews, you can have Facebook reviews, them all on a website, and it just builds this trust with website visitors that pushes them to podcasting. I mentioned either on somebody else's podcast or start your own podcast. It's a time investment and it could be a money investment, but it's a great route to take if that's something that, and it can help your business. Guest blogging, contesting giveaways, surveys and polls. Everybody, your customers want to tell you their opinion about your product, about your industry, about competitors. Give them a chance to give you feedback, which then you can turn into kind of actionable tips and really kind of see which direction go and create content that meets them there on that. And then I'm going to echo what Karen said. When all else fails, outsource your content piece. Be an expert in your field, and unless that field is content creation, it may seem daunting for you to get started. You're a new business, you're down to a few staff members because of the challenges of the last year, forcing you to kind of scale down. When you take the right approach, create a calendar, you tailor your content strategy, the return on investment is a big deal. And if that's something that you can't do successfully, you really should consider talking to the pros about it. And that's all I have today. And I'll pass it back.
Awesome. Thank you, Emily. And you can pitch back to me when you're ready. I want to let you know, some of you had asked in the question box to resend that search engine journal link. So it should be in there. If you don't see it, just let me know. Actually, I'll resend it one more time just to be completely safe. So if you get if you see multiple links in there, that's okay. That's on purpose. I just want to be safe there because several people had asked about that to share that again. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Emily. That was great information, and we got the mic thing worked out, so no worries there. It is time for questions. So any more questions, please send them out. You can put them in in your question box here. I have a couple in here that have been sent to me already. So as we're answering, just please feel free to type in a new one if you have a new one. Had a couple here. So here's a big one. And by the way, don't be shy. Ask those questions. This is your chance to ask the expert. One question I had was, if you need to outsource your content creation, how do you go about that? Where do you start with that? And both of you, Emily, Karen, you can both just pitch in and answer that one.
Sorry, muted.
You there?
I'll start because I am someone people outsource their content creation services to. I think a lot of it has to do with budget. If you're on a shoestring budget, or if you are just beginning to get your business out there, a lot of your messaging is going to be basic in the sense of, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is how you can get my stuff. So there are high volume content creators out there. That's all they do is create content in mass quantities, typically for mostly social media, but also other, types of content, whether it's blogging or creating content that'll live on your website. And they are pretty affordable. I would ask around anyone that you know that may have used a content creator service like that. Would be a great way to find one that you can work with. And they're quick. I know Emily works with one, or has worked with one that she's got a great relationship with. Another thing you can do is obviously, if you have a larger budget, you can work with a full service ad agency. You can work with someone small, such as myself, where I can bring in the groups of people or the skill sets that you need to get your project done. Or you can just blow the budget and go for a really large agency that's been around for a long time and possibly working on major media campaigns. So those would be my two ways to figure out where you should go if you're outsourcing. Ask for recommendations, and then look to those high volume content creators if you just need to get information out. If you're looking for a subject matter expert, then you want to turn to a more full service shop such as mine, or one that's even larger.
Okay. Emily, did you want to weigh in on that? Or?
Yes, to everything. I couldn't have said it better. Yeah, I work with a high volume content creation partner that does social media, and right now we're doing the big three, that has a brother company that does like email marketing campaigns. So we are not, focused on strategy. We're not focused on calendars. We don't offer the support for businesses who do need support in that area and really need to start, from the bottom and build the ground up. And we do work a lot with other marketing firms, larger marketing firms who, in this day and age, there are some tasks that it's just more economical across the board to outsource, and social media content and blog content right now is kind of one of those markets where you really, depending on your budget, you can find a solution that's the best fit for you.
Yeah, and I can weigh in. Thanks, Emily. And just adding to that answer is, oftentimes, and Karen mentioned it as far as like, looking at your data. Oftentimes when we're working with a client and you're looking at search volume and you're doing keyword research, that gives you data so you can kind of take that and do what we call a content gap analysis, which basically says, hey, we see that there is demand out there for these topics. And these topics actually apply to you, and your prospects are hungry for information about these things. So then you can take that and share that with whoever is, whether it's internally or if you're hiring someone, an agency, a creator, whoever that may be, then you can take that information and give them actually like data driven topics and say, okay, we're seeing demand for this thing. Let's write about this. Let's share this. Let's talk about this. Here's a great place to start, and then we can kind of use that as a jumping off point to come up with other content, and then of course reuse that content, like we were saying. That data is always an awesome point to have and to share. If you are working with someone, share that with them, because that's fantastic guidance for both of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One thing that I wanted to ask is this is a question that we kind of get asked, and I know the two of you do too. So I wanted to make sure that everyone hears about this. is how do you feel about like just copy and paste canned content, that every banker in town has access to this content, or every lawyer, or every whatever. How do you feel about that like copy and paste canned content and the feasibility of that?
I feel very badly about it. So I kind of, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, when we were brainstorming about this. And I had a thought, you see a lot of people say, I do marketing for doctors. We'll zero in on doctors. I do marketing for all sorts of doctors across all industries, and I have this package, and I can give you this content creation package for your doctor website, and it's content, and you think it's really great, and the price is really great, and you put it on your website, and you go to visit your competitor for whatever reason, and you realize it's the same exact content on their page. So right. I kind of run into this when people say, oh, somebody told me they have this great package for content. Is it worth it? You can't copy and paste content, period. You can't do it. Google doesn't like it. If you're copying and pasting somebody else's content, that's, we learned this in middle school, that's plagiarism. If you're copying and pasting your own content all over your website, Google's gonna notice that. And Google's gonna say, don't you have any good ideas? I can't give this to my searchers because it's just the same stuff over and over again. If you find a post, if you find an idea that you really love, if you find an article that you really like, don't copy and paste it. Find a way to apply it to your own business, your own content calendar. It's not going to be authentic if you're taking somebody else's voice and trying to overlay it onto your content strategy.
Yes, I mean, a one-size-fits-all approach never works in content marketing. You can repurpose, and you can take something and adjust it so that it fits your medium better or is more appropriate to that moment. But cutting and pasting is just lazy, to be honest. It comes across as lazy. I think just like people don't want to go to your webpage and see it hasn't been updated since 2007, they don't want to see that you're just cutting and pasting your content all over the place. They're just going to think you're lazy. So
right. Or if it still has the message in there where you built the website and it says put in your content here, or your copy here, store hours here, or whatever. We actually see that sometimes where people haven't actually filled in. If they have a DIY website, they haven't even filled that information in. So be very careful and very thorough to get all of that corrected before you launch, for sure.
Yeah, your customers are digitally savvy now more than ever. People, all age groups are being exposed to so many different new digital skills. And they will notice, and they know, if you're not going to build up your website, if you're going to be lazy about it, how is your customer service going to be? What is your product going to be like? So right. it makes a difference.
Right. Absolutely. And as we all have noticed, in the past year, our online behaviors have changed drastically. We are spending way more time than ever online. It feels like all of us are online all the time, but even those who used to not be are, because they're not leaving their houses as much or whatever. And I feel like that is definitely becoming it's a routine and a practice and a habit that's really going to stick, right? Like just like curbside delivery, we're all like addicted to it now, right? It's really going to stick with us. So we definitely have to keep these things in mind when we are building our sites and putting our information out there in social media, blogs, emails, what have you. We have to consider that people want their information thorough and simple and easy to use and easy to find. Don't hide it. So make it easy for them, because we're very much I want it now type of society, and we love that convenience. All right, well, thank you, ladies, so much. We're running great on time. I just want to close out real quick. I want to thank you all for visiting with us today and spending time with us. We do have another webinar coming up in February on the 24th. That is crafting your website framework. That will be with Kathy Hoffneck. of new concepts. She's been with us once before, and actually at our first webinar, she was with us, so we did on a COVID panel for businesses. This webinar is really interesting. This is also another Q1 starter that I wanted to get into our own content calendar very quickly, and that is crafting your website framework, because what we'll be talking about there is Kathy will be teaching you how to strategically ask yourselves these questions of your business and about your customers, and using that information to identify the necessary pages that you need to have on your site. Like we said, they have questions. You need to have answers for them. You need to have, as part of your user experience, to give them that information. So it piggybacks very well on this content conversation. So if you're planning a new site or a makeover of your old one, anytime this year, I suggest you attend. This is very powerful stuff, really showing you what to add to your site as you're planning it, so you can kind of build as you go and make sure you're putting the right information out there from the get-go, and you don't lose any time over it, you don't lose sales over it. All right, so please register for this. You can go to our SEOrocket.com homepage or our webinars page and register there. If you'd like to see this webinar again or share it, we would love for you to do that. You can see it on our webinars page and on our YouTube channel. At the YouTube channel, you can just click that bell icon to subscribe and have alerts sent to you every time we have a new video set up there. And, you know, if you enjoyed this, I have to ask, if you enjoyed this webinar and you found it informative, let us know, and also go to Google and give us a review on it. You know, we like those things too. We have to practice what we preach here. So we certainly appreciate that. I absolutely 100% love having you each with us here each month. We appreciate your time. Karen and Emily did a fantastic job. I hope everyone got a lot out of it. I'm going to let you get to your lunch now, and we are actually right on time. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
And bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.